Hey guys, welcome back to Sad Dad. My name's Dave Abkary and I am a comedian out of Fresno, California, and this is a podcast where I sit down with my fellow funny friends, my fellow comedians, and we talk about dads. Hi, how are ya? How's your week been? It's May. We made it to May. I was feeling all like stoked about like quitting smoking, because I was talking to you guys about that last week. It's like something like 60 days now since my last cigarette, and I'm like, sweet, like I want to take it like one step further. Like I want to start working out, dropping some lbs, and I woke up this morning, I was like, oh shit, it's May 1st. I literally said to myself this morning, maybe I'll take control of my life tomorrow. Starting May 2nd. So yeah, been a busy weekend, a lot of ups and downs with shows. There was a lot of stuff going on in the Fresno Clovis area. We had like the Clovis Rodeo, and there's this big festival called Vintage Days going on. So, but we still got some fun crowds out, despite all that stuff going on. The Avengers movie, and that came out, and then Game of Thrones. You guys watch Game of Thrones? I really liked that episode. There were like, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like it was this weird, like 50-50 split of people. I was like scrolling through. I have this like group, chat with like the guys I play D&D with, and they were like griping about the military tactics. It was just like really unrealistic. Like, they would have had like the cavalry like flank, and it's like they're fighting an army of zombies. Like there's dragons. Like this is high fantasy. This isn't a Tom Clancy novel. What are you guys doing? What are you guys talking about? Like, none of that would have added to the story. But anyway, I digress. Fanboys sometimes. I mean, they're my friends. I don't know why I'm shitting on them on my podcast. I love you guys. And then we're back at it. I'm recording this on a Wednesday morning. We have our Wednesday show tonight. It's gonna be my 6th straight day of hosting. I like hosting. I mean, it's made me a very strong comedian, and you got to have a strong comedian as a host if you're going to have a decent show. But it gets like, it kind of drains you after a while. Like usually Tuesday nights are usually like my 5th straight day of doing comedy in the week. And like, I usually get like really like emotional on Tuesday nights after the show. I think what it is like, I've like spent my week's worth of like endorphins, like my reserves are dry, and I just get really like quiet and introspective like after the Tuesday shows. And the comedians in our scene, that we always go out on Tuesday nights, we go do karaoke at this bar kind of down the street from the venue, and it's funny, people have kind of like caught on that I get that way on Tuesday nights, like Tanya is my best friend, Tanya Salzer, and somebody asked me last night, like, Dave, you okay? And Tanya's like, no, this is just how Dave is on Tuesdays. So anyway, usually I'm feeling better by Wednesday morning, and I feel fine now. I have this gal I've been talking to. I like her a lot, but she lives out of town, and we talk on the phone a lot. But it's like, she's up late and I'm up late, and it's like, we're talking till like 3 a.m, and it's like, it's great, but it's great talking to her, but at the same time too, it's like, this is not sustainable. This is too hard. I can't stay up till 3 a.m. like this. But so yeah, I'm a little tired for that, but it's like a good tired. I don't know. I hate it. Every time I've talked about somebody I like on the show, it always ends horribly. I'm gonna like look back on this. I'm like, you fucking idiot. You talked about her on the podcast, and it's like a weird curse. I'm just going to knock on my block of wood that I always tell you guys about. I made this. Got a great guest for you guys today. Very funny man named Saul Trujillo out of the northern Central Valley. We get into where he's from. He's from Stockton, and super. I love Saul. He's almost instantly likable. Like he's just very whimsical by his very nature, and he's got just a great perspective on so many different things. He's so thoughtful, so nice, and I'm real glad that we got to do this episode today. His dad's a real interesting dude, and we get into some pretty heavy topics, not just in the dad department, but Saul's very real, very open, very honest about some of his own personal struggles, and I was just super impressed with with where he was willing to go, and with I mean, it wasn't like I was pushing him to do any of this stuff, so you'll hear it all. So cool. Without further ado, guys, let's jump into it. Today's guest, Saul Trujillo. Yeah, like, I mean, sure, like, mouth chewing noises are gross. Kind of gross to me, but, like, there's some people it really triggers, dude.
You had the orange vanilla?
I haven't.
It's not good.
It's not good.
I was so disappointed.
It's like a dreamsicle thing or something.
It was supposed to be something like that, but it's just too, I don't know. Ugh, doesn't work.
Yeah. I did it out of, one of those, they have them at Burger King.
They're going to be at every single location.
Yeah.
Everywhere. The new fountain drinks, I hate them.
They taste weird, right? Like those computer ones where you gotta you can mix and match and do all that bullshit. Oh yeah, there's no left and right on.
Oh, okay,
on those.
cool.
Yeah. The Sennheisers dropped the little bit of weird headphone nerdery there. For whatever reason, Sennheiser doesn't do the left-right thing anymore. I have a pair from 2009. I love these fucking headphones. I own 4 pairs of these headphones. And my oldest pair is 10 years old, and they did it back then.
Is your mic on?
Yeah, we're firing hot, bro.
Are we? Because I can hear myself, but yours is like...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can hear me perfect, but it feels like you're far away.
See, I can hear me. That's wild. What would that be? I don't know where that connection would be going wrong.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping, but maybe...
Yeah, let's switch headphones.
Yeah, maybe that's how it's supposed to sound.
Let me see. Check 1 2 1 2. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check.
Can you hear you?
I can hear you.
I
think we're good then.
Yeah, I think we're all right.
Maybe I'm just tripping.
Yeah, you're fine.
Does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Same set of headphones.
Hold on, let me hit the best sound in the whole world.
That's super satisfying.
It's so good. It's one of the best sounds.
It really is.
And
I don't know that that's I don't know that they engineered that to be such a satisfying sound. I don't know if you can. I know BMW has sound designers for Mercedes so their doors sound a specific way when you close them. I don't know if Coke is implying
I don't know
tactics.
But I just wish what I was drinking was way manlier.
I know.
Coke fishing or hunting. It's Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
I do office work.
I was reading about it too. It's Coke Zero is literally just Diet Coke for dudes. They literally engineered this.
No, I think that was Diet Pepsi Max.
Oh, is that what it was?
Coke Zero was just running Coke Zero. Coke Zero just looks cool naturally.
It does. It's the black can. They really nailed it, dude.
Yeah, it reminds you of everything cool, like Batman, fucking all the things.
Yeah, absolutely. Man. Batman. What are other cool black things?
What? We could just stop there. Batman and then other black cool things.
Like Samuel L. Jackson and
yeah.
That's great, man. Well, you had you had a great set last night.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
There was there was a real good receptive crowd.
They were fun last night.
It was popping.
Yeah, they were. I was doing the cold open, and I did not want to get off stage. I was like, "You guys are so fucking fun," but I gotta start this show. So
yeah. And what do we have? What kind of gap do you have there? Is it a 2-hour show?
We usually it's supposed to go from 7:30 to 10. We kind of have a hard out at the Chico's at 10 because that's when they close. And we try not to go too much past 10 because we could potentially send their staff into overtime.
Yeah, but those cooks and those fucking the cooks, as soon as the kitchen's done, they don't give a fuck about anybody else.
No.
I was a cook, so it doesn't matter if there was a show happening. As soon as 10 happens, they're like, "Oh, can you?" We don't care.
Well, and last night too. Marissa, the bartender, she's she's being I could tell she was being nice, but she was also your headliner needs to order his fucking food already. And
I had no idea what was going on.
I was
when you gave me the light for ordering my food, I was like, fuck, whatever, dude. I don't care what's good, what's edible.
Right.
What has salt on it? All the things? Okay, just order whatever.
Everything. It's okay, cool. Everything is salty here. And it was But yeah, it was a super fun show, and you did great, man. Man, you're so funny.
Thanks, man. I've been told about this little run for a while, and how first and foremost, the first thing that was Taylor Evans who told me, and then like another person confirmed it, is Dave is cool.
Aww.
Yeah, like you get to stay at his house, you get to hang out with him. He's generally cool,
really,
and they're not wrong, man.
Oh, cool.
It was cool. Like I was just like super stoned last night, and then you were talking about stuff, and like I'm gonna be honest with you, I got maybe 3/4 of it kind of good.
I was firing hot. I was just talking so much shit last night because I was a little drunk. You're a little stoned.
Yeah.
I finally got to the end of my rant, and I'm like, well, I guess we should go to bed.
Like we weren't on the same planet, but we were like floating on the same universe. It was great.
We were definitely shooting satellites to investigate one another. And
you were just like, this, and I was like, fucking yup. Yeah, I was like, whatever you just said, dude, we're friends. Whatever you said.
Dude, I have an episode, you mentioned Taylor. I have like a Sad Dad Black file, and my Taylor Evans episode is in the Sad Dad Black file.
Oh, no.
Not because he did it. What it was we were short on time, and I really wanted to do. Marcus was up too.
Okay.
And Marcus Peveril. And
I don't care about Marcus enough to ask him about his dad's situation.
It's pretty interesting.
Can I know?
Well,
I'm just kidding. Tell me after.
Tell you all about Marcus's dad.
Yeah.
But the problem is like we were short on time. I had to get those guys to the train station, and I wanted to do episodes with both of them, but I was like, one of you guys like just flip a coin, and that's who I'll record with. And they're like, no, like let's do one together. And so it was like the three of us, and it's just fucking chaos. Like there's no.
Of course it's chaos, because anytime you have to drop anybody off at a train station, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be explosions.
Yeah.
Someone's going to check a grandfather's watch to see what time the train comes.
So like,
what the fuck?
I have this like Sad Dad episode that's just complete nonsense. Like it's just Taylor, Marcus, and I just talking over each other, and like I never even listened back to it because I was like, there's no way, because we're like
trying to top each other with dad stories.
Taylor's just screaming into the mic, and like there's no
sounds like Taylor.
There's no way the audio levels are good on this, like. So I was like, I guess I'll just never air this thing, and I'll just record real episodes with them next time they're down.
Taylor was just screaming incoherently.
No, it was like he was screaming at Marcus, just ripping into Marcus, you know,
or Marcus.
Yeah, just fucking.
That's Taylor's half black side coming out, fighting the white side. I'm gonna yell at.
Screaming
a tiny one.
Yeah, the small white man. Yeah. I'm just going to take out all my aggression.
Here's the problem here. Oh, my God. That must have been a hell of an episode.
It was, man. It was just nonsense.
A royal rumble of fucking nonsense.
Yeah. It was really fun. It was just not really in line with my typical format, but... you're out of it. I know Taylor's from Turlock, right?
Yeah, which is about 45 minutes south of where I'm from. I'm from Stockton.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah,
Stockton, California. California's butthole.
It's one of those things where I like a lot of people shit on Stockton. I even have a joke about Stockton in my act. But I mean, I don't know. Is there a part of? I mean, is there a side to Stockton that we are all missing? You know, is it really?
It's just it is what it is. It's an inland port. It's a pretty much whatever city, but you can accept that your home is a whatever city and still be proud of home.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Because Stockton is a whatever city. There ain't shit to Stockton. There's the nightlife downtown is awful. Mm-hmm. The homeless thing is awful. Yeah. But like you deal with it and just be like, fucking we got a movie theater and we got like a fucking basketball team, minor league basketball team, minor league hockey team, which is fun. You just look at the positives and kind of just, step over homeless people, not really look at the negatives.
Sure. What was growing up there like for you?
It was great, man. I grew up a Catholic my whole life. Mm-hmm. My whole just Catholic school, being scared of ghosts.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, we
that
need
was
to talk ghosts.
Fucking great. I barely got over being scared of ghosts last year.
That's so funny.
I wish that was a joke. But then like I fucking last night slept in that room.
Oh yeah.
And then like it's just like I forgot. And then I started getting kind of little because I was high, little anxiety.
Sure.
I was like, this house is definitely haunted.
That's so funny. Yeah,
100%.
I would let you know if it was haunted. I'm very upfront about haunted.
If I died of a heart attack in that room, I would haunt your house. Every comic that would come in, like, you had a bad, sad. Just get in their head. Just be real bad about it.
Just saying the most savage.
Not some comic with the TV credits all in his own head, like I fucking bombed in Clovis.
Oh no, I'll fucking I'll never get an agent. My tape is shit. And so growing up out there, I mean, you're growing up Catholic. You're afraid of ghosts. Actually, it's so funny. Oh, I did it last night. I did my Guy Fieri ghost bit, but the gal that cut my hair, I really want her. I saw her yesterday. The joke is about getting like a tip from the gal that cuts my hair about like this haunted barbecue place, and maybe I'll take you there. We're already going.
Okay, great.
Damn it, we're going to a different lunch thing today. But I saw her yesterday, and I hadn't seen her in a couple of months because she wasn't there last time I got my hair cut. And I was like, I wrote a really funny bit about you, and she's like, shut up. And I don't know. I think she's single. I should get her out to a show sometime. Tell my ghost bit. I'm sorry. I think I got a little hotboxed.
No, that's fucking funny, man. That's great.
And so you went to Catholic school?
I went to St. Gertrude's St. Gertrude's Elementary, and I guess because Catholic schools go from K, sometimes pre, all the way up until like the 7th grade, 8th grade.
Oh yeah.
So from 1st grade to 8th grade, I went to St. Gertrude's Catholic School. Wow. Which it was like, it was just...
What's that? I mean, what's Catholic school like? Like, I mean, is it just like any other school?
I mean, instead of science and math, they teach you religion, dude.
Oh, okay.
No, they teach you science, they teach you math, but on top of that, there's an extra edition of the curriculum of the Bible and just all these fucking tales of Jesus.
Is the whole like nun rapping you on the knuckles? Is that a real trope?
No, they did it to me mentally. They said, you know what? No more hitting the kids. You get it to them like worse. Like I have a couple stories to where I could tell one. I don't think I've ever told it on the air. Not even on Joke Me Off.
Oh, nice.
I was like 5, and I got in trouble. So one of the nuns, Sister Irene, and I know her because she's a fucking cunt who has malaria.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, and I don't even want to go into how she got it, but she deserved it. I mean, you can't tell me. This is my own personal experience. If you are, hey, I remember Sister, she's great. Not with me. All right. She wanted me to recite the ABCs.
Okay.
So I sang the ABCs because I was like, you get taught. Yeah. And then when I would go and Z, and she's like, that's wrong. So I would do the ABCs. She made me go to every class, do the ABCs, and I'm thinking I'm doing it right. And she's like, no, that's wrong. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It got to a point where I went to every class, sang the ABCs, and then she just belittled me in front of the class.
Like class to class.
Like, look, this kid doesn't know how to do his ABCs.
Jesus.
And then I go, that's what she did. That's who she did it for, to make sure. Then we went back to and then right there, as soon as I'm bawling, she's like, you know what you're doing wrong is the word "and" isn't in the ABCs. I would have rather have gotten paddled on my bottom.
Yeah, right.
Several times.
Yeah, just beat me. This is.
I wish that was funnier, but that's the kind of like that's their go be a human, grow up like that.
Fucking A, dude. That's pretty rough. Yeah,
and being extremely homophobic, obviously.
Oh, right.
Getting past that, like I feel like it was. I don't know. I'm trying to use it as deflection. Really hard because they pour homophobia into your brain. Right. So to break out of that, I had to dig deep, stop using specific words. And even then I slip up every now and then. Sure. But it's like, I went to Catholic school from 1st grade all the way up until my senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. So it's like that environment.
Really baked into you. Yeah.
So now it's like, I'm a whole different person. I'm agnostic. I'm not fully atheist. Yeah. I kind of try to it's kind of corny, but I try to live the lifestyle that the dude Jesus was. Sure. So where I try to be cool with everyone, talk to every open micer, talk to every person, be extremely personable. I mold really well. Mm-hmm. Like even if I don't like something, I'm just like, I'm hanging out, I'm just smoking weed.
I mean, I saw that last night with you. There's not a lot of headliners, or at least people that we bring out for those Just the Tip shows that stick around for the open mic. I know you kind of had to, but you were also in the room a lot, and you could have just parked yourself in the corner on your phone.
I wanted to see what the Fresno scene was about.
And I think that's really cool. Like every now and then we'll have a headliner that'll do that. And I think, I know it means a lot to me, the fact that you're like genuinely interested in what's going on here.
Of course.
But I think it means a lot to the open micers too,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times they'll feel like after the headliner gets off.
I'm glad I stuck around too. There was he looks like a more hood Taylor Evans.
Isaiah Washington.
Isaiah, dude.
I really like Isaiah.
He's really fresh. He's really new. But I was like, as soon as he gets to be able to get the natural cadence down, because it's still very performance.
Right.
But I was like, he's gonna do it.
I 100% agree. I really like what he's doing, and he's only maybe 3 or 4 weeks in. He started like he's been hitting every single mic available to him. Like he's one of those guys who would kind of show up to the open mics and just kind of checked it out for months, and then he finally decided to go on. And I think he's got a real knack. Like you said, there's some polish that needs to come along, but he's got a great imagination. Like he's got this.
Yeah.
He didn't do it last night. I don't think he did it last night. He does his bit about dying and going to heaven, and he's kind of like runs through this whole scenario. And yeah, I absolutely am very excited by him. But yeah, I mean, it's so cool that you like stuck around and watched that. And
you got to make sure he doesn't go into the wrong hands.
100.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that happen where somebody will get a hold of a young comic.
It's not as weird in the 219 about it, but I see a couple slithery promoters out here that are who exist still, and I'm like, why are you still alive?
Yeah,
we drove you out of the 209, and we drove you to a 559. We apologize.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is like, this kind of goes back to some of what we were talking about. But yeah, there was. You had some. For forever, you've had some staples in this scene. Really good, very funny people like your Chris Cruzes and your Danny Minches and everything. But they were like working comics. Danny was the only one that was doing a weekly show, but the rest of those guys weren't really running shows outside of like monthly shows, and so like nobody was really putting in the work, like the nitty gritty work for like the young open mic scene. And so stuff like that would happen. You'd get one kid out, he would go up one time, and then the wrong guy gets hold of him.
I just see these fucking promoters get these new comics who've been doing it like 10 days.
Yeah.
And they suck them dry.
It's funny. That's happening. I'll talk about with you off mic, but there's
no. And I don't mean to bring any sort of.
But like
I'm being very as vague as I possibly can.
Sure. But that is actively happening right now with a young comic that I think has so much promise, and that comic's just kind of falling in.
Hey, young comic, listen to what I'm saying. Stop. All right, go get good at the mics. Then figure it out. You'll learn, but stop right now.
The other thing,
stage time ain't worth it.
The only other thing that kind of drives me bonkers when it happens in comedy is when two comics like date and then they kind of like have a falling out, and then that like one of them stops coming out to the mics. It's like because the other one is there. It's like, no, like just forget, like no, like you're just squandering, like you're just wasting your talent over a dumb boy. You know what I mean? Like it's like. Kills me.
It's hard to be logical about things. Man. You let human emotions take over who you are, but what can you do?
Yeah, like human heart. Yeah.
It hurts.
It hurts.
Makes me feel weird.
Yeah, and it's all mushy and red, and it's gross. So anyways, but for you, that's growing up in Stockton, growing up Catholic. At what point does the comedy come along? Were you like a comedy nerd growing up? Or
I always loved comedy. I always watched stand up, but it's as a fan to be entertained.
Yeah,
and I've always been talking shit because on top of like being a Catholic, I didn't recognize because of what was happening to me in school and like just whatever, like the way my dad was, because my dad was typical machismo Mexican, like it's like do this or else, that kind of created. Well, I'm also not gonna try to deflect. I was also an asshole kid, so that created me as like I would talk shit on everyone, like I would be to their face, you know what I mean? Yeah. At one point, my buddy was, I don't know, he was keeping it pretty cordial. And then I think I said that I had sex with his sister in a hotel room. And then he punched me in the ear. Jeez. And my ear bled. Oh. And that was like the first time in my life where I was like, okay, you have to be willing to get punched in the ear if you want to keep talking shit. And I never stopped. I was willing to just recognize if you're going to say something and you get punched, you're like, I deserve that.
Yeah.
As long as you recognize I deserve that and not go, ow, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Well, because you said something mean.
Sure.
So I grew up like that. So I guess comedy didn't come along until like I was in culinary school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when somebody was like, you should really think you're very funny. You're very just off the cuff. And I didn't even do it till 2010. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, this is great. But before I was just a fan. Right. I loved Chappelle. I loved all the specials. I would watch them, but I would never think like, oh, I could do that, you know? Until culinary school.
Yeah,
that was
wild.
Fucking. It was.
Well, and I mean, talk a little bit. I think that's fascinating too. Like, you're a legit chef.
Yeah, I'm a legit chef, but like, it didn't occur to me the type of culinary school that I had gone to.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and imagine people go to culinary school, right? They go to the CIA in San Francisco or in France, and I was gambling a lot. I was a gambling addict, and it was legitimately an easy fix to let my mom know, like, oh, I'm going back to school, because I was like in it. I was in it deep. So I saw daytime TV. I saw like ITT Tech commercials. Then I saw one for Le Cordon Bleu. I went to trade school to become a fucking line cook. It's Le Cordon Bleu's trade school, where it's a fast track version of their 3-year course.
Oh, crazy!
So I did that, and it was fine. It was fun.
Sure.
It was like in a year, and I still gambling, still going at it, and like. Dude, I was a psychopath. Nobody knows this. I can't believe I'm admitting this on the Dad podcast.
I mean, hey, whatever story you want to tell, brother.
I'm letting you know. Like that's how culinary school happened. People I have to stop telling people like, oh, I went to culinary school. Like, nah, man, I went to trade school to be a line cook, a Denny's cook.
All as a cover for my crippling gambling addiction.
Yes,
that's so funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's funny in the life is comedy.
I learned to trade. I know. Look, I can cook. Like, I have a banana bread recipe right off the top. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And I guess but was there a connection between you and cooking before you?
Yeah, my grandma owned a bakery.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
she owned the bakery in Stockton, the Mexican bakery. It was known. It was called La Victoria. It was to white people. It was the pink store. So it was great.
So it's usually like traditional Mexican pastry, or
Mexican pastries, man. Conchas, porquitos, just your typical like Mexican cookies, which are good, but like this isn't a chocolate chip cookie,
right?
You guys tried?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that around here. Yeah, I mean,
we're in Fresno. Yeah. Come on, man. We're in Bond City. Yeah. There's your good places. There's your bad places. You know,
100%. And okay, and so like at what point for you? I mean, does the kind of the cooking, like, did you end up like working in the culinary field?
I was I got after culinary school, or before you graduate to trade school, adorable trade school. They want you to intern at a place, and I was already working as a line cook at a place, and I just interned there. Yeah, I could have been cool and interned anywhere to not get paid, but I'm already getting paid here. It's just this. It was like it was kind of De Coco's like almost the same, but they had like 6 or 7 of them. Strings Italian restaurant.
Okay, gotcha.
So
it's like a family-owned chain in the town.
Well, they kind of started branching out, like to where they started franchising and shit.
Right.
Now there's a bunch of them, but when I started, there was probably 7 or 8. So I worked my week, fucking gambling, drinking, working at Strings, doing stand-up sometimes. Yeah. Straight. And then like taking stand-up serious, it's just that whole rotation of that.
Right.
So but the whole time, Strings has been in my life.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I'm either a line cook, a prep cook, or a line cook, or I'm a kitchen manager this time. You know, so it's
wow, you were deep into it. Yeah. And what's being in Stockton, what's starting comedy in Stockton like? You know, what's when you decided to, like, when that moment happened, when you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try this stand-up thing, I'm gonna go up on an open mic.
I googled open mic near me, and I think the closest thing was Sacramento. The first thing that came up was Comedy Sports, which is an improv place.
Okay.
Which I didn't go to. I was like, I'm not going to that. So then there's Comedy Spot. And then there was Laughs Unlimited, which I was like, that seems whatever. So I just picked off a whim. So the first mic I went to was Laps Unlimited on a Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
And I fucking destroyed.
Yes.
I murdered.
Yeah.
And
it's always dangerous when you get that hook in and like that hard, that deep, that early. Yeah.
Because as soon as I murdered, it was like the bookers, they didn't even give me 5 steps to like, hey kid, you need to come do my show this, or can you bring people out?
Yeah.
And
then the sharks start circling. Yeah.
Yeah. And then people started talking like, oh dude, you're going to be the next thing. I was like, dude, I just stepped foot on stage.
Give me a second. Like, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And I'm not doing this to brag. It's just like, that's the first thing that had happened.
Right.
Because the second time I'd gone on stage, forgot everything. It's flipped. First stage, because I think everybody got in my head. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, but blank. I can't do this. I said, I can't do this right now. Walked right off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that second time at a mic, or was were you on?
That was
spot?
Laps Unlimited does an open mic the first Tuesday of the month, and then the third Tuesday they do the open mic showcase.
Oh,
so the favorites from the open mic go to the next one.
Oh, so you're on the showcase, and
and that's where I was like, nope.
That's exactly what happened to me. I had a great first time, and then the second time I just crashed and burned so hard. Yeah. But I think I've said this a million times on at least on this podcast, but I think it's good to do bad early, you know?
Oh, how I wish I could be bad for the first... I don't know. I know me. I probably would have quit. But there are some comics who are doing it 5 years, 6 years, just fucking eating it.
Yeah.
And then one day, it just fucking out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, I've seen that happen.
Out of nowhere. And then they just become animals.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys in our scene that, like... I just watched them, like, pound their head against the wall... And you're rooting for him, like I want you to do well, and then one day, it's like a light switch goes off, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, like he's a killer now, it's great, like and I like it, but I think more importantly, I just am so impressed not with their current ability, but with their past ability to stick to it, dude.
Yeah.
Because that's hard.
I want to tell a quick story about he's a deaf puppy, because I'm part of the group, the Deaf Puppies.
Yeah.
We're the 209. One of my good buddies, Jason Sohm. At the time, he was going by Jason Violation, trying to be like a punk rock dad.
Yeah. Punk rock dad.
He was awful, fucking completely just awful. And then one day he goes up, he gets like drunk, and then he starts eating chicken strips, and then he goes up there and he just starts talking about his life and connecting things, and he starts to become and he got funny.
Yeah.
It was the first set that he ever got funny. He gets off stage, he tells me, he's like, how many beers did I drink? How many chicken strips did I eat?
He's trying to like come up
Let's
with the formula.
fucking find the formula. I was like, shit.
What's my recipe for
and
funny?
And then that night, he fucking gets a DUI.
No.
And it just gives him more material.
Well, that's good. I guess. That's
but no, that's the night he became funny.
That's so.
The night he became funny, he got a DUI.
Right.
Which it's all paid off now, but to be honest, he got 10, 15. To be honest, Jason, if you listen to this, that it was $15,000 worth of jokes. That's fantastic, man. Good on you. You have such a good set now.
That's great, man. Yeah, you're. I'm glad you mentioned that because people can get funny. You know,
Yeah.
You think that's like we all kind of sometimes fool ourselves into thinking like you're either born with it or not. You know, but sometimes you can put in the work and you can get there, man. I love that.
Well, it's a lot of people comment like, "Oh, I can't do what you do." What do you mean, just talk to people? That's the only difference is that in a situation where a comic's on stage and they don't like the sound of no laughs, they panic. So it's fight or flight. So my flight is like, "Hey, you got a dumb hat." You know what I mean? Like that's how it started, and then obviously you work away from that. So I think a comic's ability to want to be personable to people just off stage helps them on stage.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there are some comics who are extremely antisocial. Like, I don't even want to talk to you. I just want to do my set and get the fuck off. And those are the ones that I feel like have a hard time when they don't interact, if they don't do crowd work. Yeah.
There's a guy in our scene who he's in the last couple of months, he's gotten really, really good. But for a long time, he kind of like had this like, I got it. Like, I got what he was going for. He was going for this like insane insecurity, thinly veiled in pretension. Like that was sort of his like, and I got it, But like
that whole sentence was crazy,
right? And
that I'm trying to figure out that insanely. What'd you say?
It was insane insecurity, thinly veiled in pretension.
Fuck, that's a podcast name. If I didn't, you know what I mean? That's fucking right. Go ahead.
But no. I mean, like that was what he was going for, and I got it. I mean, I thought it was funny, but like, how do you fucking communicate that to an audience? You know, like especially if you're a new comic. You know, like. And he had a year and a half of just crashing and burning, but he's finally like, I think what it was though was he got a girlfriend, and I think his girlfriend made him more likable. Like I think just like she's like, you're being an asshole, stop being such an asshole, and he's kind of like stopped being such an asshole, but still kind of like maintained like his material, and so like he's gotten this like newfound like likability as a human being, but now he can couple that with his.
He's getting pussy now.
He's getting pussy, bro.
That's probably what I'm happy now. Look at me.
He's crushing the puss and being
writer's block, babe. Yeah. Can you assist me consensually in the bedroom so that I may write a joke?
Yeah,
I've done that before. I've pulled that on my girlfriend. I have lots of girlfriend jokes.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the hardest thing. I'm talking to somebody right now, and it's hard to not. When you're like first in a relationship, like there's just so much fucking, there's so many like things and I want to do like on stage, but at the same time too, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's a little disingenuous to like write all of these jokes about this person I just met. Like, am I just, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I feel like that right there, what you're talking about is a great joke in itself.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just the idea of that insecurity. Yeah. Maybe I'll fuck around with that. Yeah. It's funny. Well, you're Saul Trujillo.
Oh yeah, I'm Saul Trujillo.
Yeah,
that's who I am.
This is
I do not have a children.
You don't have children.
I'm a father of the earth, dude. I try to look over plants and stuff or animals.
This is a real steward of the planet. I love it. Yeah. And this is a podcast about dads. And you have a dad. You've mentioned.
I do have a dad. He passed away about 4 years ago.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, he was great, man. He was one of the greatest. He was one of the greatest dudes. Like You hate him as an adult, as a child, and then you don't get each other, you know, because he's from a different country.
Yeah,
you know, like he's Mexican. But if it's a matter of whether or not you want to accept all his music and the culture, and I fully didn't. You know, like I wanted to listen to my music. I didn't want none of that. Like I didn't start getting into Mexican music until this year. You know, like I just was so as a kid, you're so anti the man, and my man happened to be a senor, and his name was Jose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I wanted to not be that. Not necessarily Mexican. I love being Mexican. I just didn't want to be that type of Mexican.
I see.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, and you're in kind of like an unenviable position in that you're that first generation, and obviously you guys, more so than anybody that has come before you and anybody that will come after you, you're the one that's straddling that line between the old world and the new world, you know? And I mean, I can imagine that's really difficult. I also find it like very fascinating too. Like,
you third generation?
Yeah, I'm third generation. Like I think my great grandparents immigrated here. My grandparents were born here. My dad was born here.
What ethnicity are you?
Armenian.
That's okay. That's rad, dude.
Yeah.
I the mustache and the chest beard, dog. I just forgot.
It's all good. No. But so your dad grew up in Mexico.
Yeah, my dad. He's from. I think I'm gonna butcher the name. It's Tepayayac.
Okay.
Something. But it's he rooted for Toluca. Because he said that's where he was born, Toluca, Mexico.
Oh, so you can kind of zero in on where he's from based on his soccer team.
Toluca, well, that's what he rooted for, and that's where he was born. So like, and that's the closest metropolis. That's wherever.
What part of Mexico is that?
Fuck if I know. Mexico City, closest to Mexico City,
gotcha.
whatever state that's in.
Gotcha.
But so that's where he's from. He grew up on a farm of like avocados and fucking just whatever they could grow.
Yeah.
And he immigrated here when he was 17 illegally. Yeah, as some do.
As some are wont to do.
Yeah. And he's a typical, just got right into farm work, man. He was a farm worker, got shot in the stomach by a cop.
Jesus.
Yeah, like when he was like, right before he met my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a giant fucking cross scar that he got from being shot in the stomach.
Jesus.
Yeah, while he had it was fucking wild. Yeah.
Did he ever talk about what growing up on that farm was like? You know, I mean, growing up in Mexico, did he ever share any of that experience with you?
It was a lot of. He was really vague about things.
Was he?
Now he was either really vague or I was too remember anti the man to just listen.
Sure.
Which is extremely disappointing, but. He would talk about waking up every morning to tend to the farm life and tend to the avocado trees and shit like that, and just how you're lucky how I'm raising you the way I'm raising you because my parents treated me like this.
Right.
So it's funny because of these are different country parents.
Right.
They're gonna beat the fuck out of their kids. They don't there's no standards.
Yeah, right.
In Mexico,
there's no CPS
in the goddamn 80s on a farm. Get the fuck out of here. So, but he just is funny because he's like, oh, you're lucky. He beat our ass. You know what I mean? But that's what he considered to be lucky. You know what I mean? Because but it's a Mexican family in the 90s. Right. It's be realistic in Stockton. Yeah, be realistic about. So he spanked our butts and stuff like that. I mean, went far a little bit sometimes. But the thing is that now as an adult, I used to resent that. I used to resent who he was and all that. But now as an adult, I just shit. I want to be with him. Yeah. In a sense of just talking to him. Yeah. Really wanting to know about his past so that I can understand certain things. Sure. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I love my dad. My dad was great because he was funny.
Was he?
Yeah, he was so funny.
Was he?
Yeah, that's why I was I think that's why he would just crack jokes. And they weren't they were clean, but they were just perfectly timed. And just where it would be tense and then dad'll just say something and just it'd be over. So he wouldn't do them all the time, but they'd be well planned.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, a well-timed joke makes all the difference, especially I don't know. Some of the times when I was a kid, I would laugh the hardest was when my dad was riffing on Star Trek or whatever was on TV. Yeah, I love a well-timed dad joke. Just can make your childhood.
Yeah.
Did he ever talk about that moment that he decided to immigrate to the United States? I mean, was there a specific thing that was going on in his life, or was he just?
It honestly felt like that's what was the thing to do.
As he's a young buck.
You know how some people when they're 18 you just move out of your parents' house. When you're a 17, 16-year-old Mexican, you go to cross that fence, go get work. Right. That would just felt like the stock thing to do for someone at his age. Right. Go to a different country legally and work and then send money back home. Right.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Did he ever talk about that journey? Was it a harrowing journey? Or
he would talk about the walk was long. They ran out of water one time, so he said that he would get a rock with a little an indentation in it and just keep spitting in it. And then when he was really thirsty, he'd just drink his spit rock.
That's what you do. That's so intense.
Logically, I was like, you're just losing spit and then I wouldn't tell him to his face, but I was thinking about it. I was like, this is awful.
Yeah, I don't think this works quite like.
Were you just getting desert high? Was that a way to get desert high?
I could only imagine that the sun's beating down on you and you're walking for forever and maybe.
I think my dad was just weird because that's something I'd do if I was high. The other Mexican people, he's just getting drink water, but he's just fucking spitting on a rock and drinking the spit.
But that was something you said last night to me offhandedly. You're like, someday I'm going to stop smoking weed and realize I'm actually just weird.
Yeah. I use weed as a crutch, and I feel like that I keep saying it, but I just keep doing it. I need a reason to just be able to fucking start breakdancing in Walmart. My girlfriend's like, stop. And I was like, I can't help it.
Yeah, that's and so your dad makes it to the United States. He starts working. At what point does he meet your mom?
Fuck, they're probably 24? 24-ish? Yeah. No, way later than 24. He's 27. Yeah, 27. I mean, my mom, I think they hit it off right away. I think they had me within 2 years.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm all right away. That seems pretty reasonable. What the fuck? They had it right away. I mean, they gave it a year. They waited.
They gave it a year. They're closing in on their 30s. I could see where they could feel like a clock was ticking. And 2 years is reasonable. Yeah. And do you have a big family? I mean, do you have a bunch of brothers and sisters? Or
that was the issue. Is that my dad hated everybody. It was very much a family that was on and off.
Okay.
So like I'm not talking to him, but I'm talking to her. Yeah, they had a big family, but like who we were talking to, I had no idea.
Oh wow.
I'm not talking to your uncle, but we were gonna go to your aunt's. I'm not talking to your aunt. I'm not talking to either of them. I'm like, oh come on, man.
Yeah.
It was very much like that. So it's like some Christmases were bigger than others. Some Christmases we weren't talking to anybody. It was just me, my mom, my dad, and my brother. And you know what? Those were cool because I was like, because my dad had such the mentality that the other people sucked. So I was under there like, yeah, they sucked. So you're just like your dad's hype man.
Yeah.
Your dad's in a family beef, so you're just like, yeah, fuck Tio Tomas. You know, like you're fucking, yeah. That's all you can do as a kid. You're not gonna agree with your dad. You know what I mean? You're gonna.
So funny. Yeah, that's hilarious. Man. That's great. What was, I mean, for you, like, I mean, I guess you kind of touched on it a little bit, but like, I mean, what was, when it got down to it, what was your relationship like with your dad? I mean, was he? I mean, were you guys?
I never thought you get that full because I respected him so much and I wanted him to love me so much. Like I never thought he fully, because he never really said it. You know, but he's just, now you think of it, oh, that's silly. He's just like, he's just from a different country.
Sure.
To where like, I love you is like, you'll say it more to the women. You can say it, but to the men, you're just like, you know, I love you. Just don't make me say it.
Right. Do you feel like your relationship changed once you became an adult? Like, I mean, did you guys?
He got sick.
Oh.
So like, as he was sick since he was like 30. He's had type 1 diabetes.
Oh, sure.
And he barely found that out when he was 30. So it was gradually just worse. He was always on pills. He was always like in pain. He was always, because like, and on top of that, he's a jokester, right? So there was a good peak in time where he was sick. He had diabetes, but he was still not eating great. He would eat like all the things that make you fart, dude. Beans, just coffee. Black, and and I wish this was a joke, but he had a GMC truck that I remember that he would take to work every day to the fertilizer factory because that's where he worked. He worked at a Lesco fertilizer factory. He worked 16-hour days, but like he would have that awful diet. So he would go to a fertilizer company, and he would just eat horribly. So that truck, he would pick me up from school, dude. It was the worst. He made the seats smell like the worst. In there, because all he's doing is farting into the seat for like 12 years.
Oh, man.
He's farting into his seat. So that seat, when like he passed, that seat was stock fart.
It's like what you're telling me right now is like an awful side effect of your father's sickness, but it's also essentially a fart joke. And you know
what I mean? And he was a pull your finger dad. Because he knew they were gross.
That's so funny.
It's so disgusting. I have a bit that I'm trying out on stage that him being a pull your finger dad.
That's so funny.
Which is so fucking like 90s hack. But it's like, you know what, fucking it's happened to me. I don't know what I'm gonna say.
He was a dad in the 90s, so is it hack if he's just what it is? You know what I mean? Like,
if he was just like a pop fart and it's cute, but no, he was vengeful with his pulls. You know what I mean?
That's wild, dude. And you have a younger brother?
Yeah. I have a younger brother, which like I feel bad because he was like the kid who I bullied. You know what I mean? One of the kid, and he kind of, it's kind of real. And like I'm making up for it now. We got a weird relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he still have some held over animosity from childhood?
Yeah, understandably.
Sure.
Yeah, well, because fuck, man. I tried to get back, like hang out with him where it was cool, and he frustrated me to a point where I said something on Joke Me Off. And then that completely, we didn't talk for a year.
Oh, that's a bummer, man.
I feel fucking bad about it, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean it's family. There was my younger brother and I had a bit of a falling out. It was over something. It was actually something pretty serious, but man, at the same time too, it's like that. What's so unique about like a sibling like your brother is they're the closest thing to experiencing your child, like, you know what I mean, like your childhood. There's nobody else in the world that would have a similar perspective on what it was like for you growing up other than your sibling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody else, and so like you have this like just very intense personal connection to one another, because beyond just like the blood relation, it's like, oh, you know exactly what I went through, you know?
Yeah.
And I think there's something really important about that relationship that you just can't get out of it, literally anybody else. And so yeah, it hurts when you're not on speaking terms with one another.
Yeah, it really does. Because the thing is like, I don't care if like the main thing is especially is like if we could not talk, I just want to. He's okay. You know what I mean? That's it.
Right,
that's all you really care about as a brother. Is like, are you doing fine financially, mentally? What's up? Are you good? You're fine. All right, and then that's it.
Right.
For me, that's all really.
That's fine.
Is.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Are you guys back to normal yet? Or you're still working on it?
I don't know if there's going to be a back to normal, but I think there could be, there's a neutral ground eventually. But I'm living at my mom's house, and he's there as well.
Oh wow! So you guys are in the thick of it, yeah.
So it's real cordial, you know. He says a couple words to me. It was at first when I moved back in, it was a little rough, like the first week. But now it's been like. He goes to work and say hi, good day, bye. That's stuff like that. So it's fine. It's not even weird. Totally. So yeah. I
mean, and it's sometimes that's what it takes to just being nice and cordial for each other can open the door up to other stuff later on. So that's good, man. And so as far as the format of the show, I usually ask at the very end for a dadictote. We talked about this last night. Yeah. I haven't heard it yet. I like to be surprised. Okay. But I told you to have one in the chamber. So yeah, you have a dadictote to share?
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I got high last night, and I did not. I don't have a dadictote.
It's okay.
I'm just trying to think, man. No, I don't have a dadictote.
That's okay. Yeah. Nothing that really like sticks out to you from childhood.
Oh, from childhood. All right. Well. Oh my God.
Just a favorite dad story that you like to.
Oh, okay. A favorite dad story that my dad. I don't know. Every time. Because my dad and my grandma really didn't like each other. So he's not a real dadictote, but it's just he really just never trusts your grandma. That's a weird dadictote.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
Well, because it was
his beef with his. So this is his mom.
No, that's my mom's mom.
Oh, his mother-in-law.
What
was his beef with her?
You think the whole they just didn't like each other because they're from different parts of Mexico. She worked hard for what she worked, but she's from a more highbrow kind of like, she's from the state of Jalisco, which is like the people there in Mexico, you can't even tell they're Mexican. They're like white, blue eyes.
Oh, wow.
It's fucking wild. And my dad is 100% not that. And he grew up on the poorer side. Yeah. So it always felt like they were butting heads, and it always felt like, oh, you're not. That's not big enough tip, or like you don't tell me how to run my family. Yeah. Like, no, we're not feeding them too much. Like stuff like that. Because my grandma shit on me hard. Gordito. I didn't go by Saul. I went by little fat one.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is whatever. That's if you're a fat kid in a Mexican family, it's Gordito. So my dad was like, never trust your grandma, and I was like, I kind of have like, all right, you're the one who calls me Saul. She's the one who calls me Gordito. I'm going to go ahead and go with yours. I loved grandma, but I never fully trusted her.
That's so funny. Yeah. That is funny. Like, I think that's lost on certain people, like the nuances of, I mean, like when you're in a country, like you immigrated from Mexico, my family was originally from Armenia. And it's like, yeah, you're Mexican and I'm Armenian, but like, there are differences between Armenians. We're not all just one thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely not. No.
Like at least with us, like there was, and like there's a lot of Armenians in Southern California, but a lot of the Armenians that ended up there were like the mercantile like caste, and here we got more of like the agrarian Armenians, like a lot of farming Armenians ended up in the Central Valley. And
dude, so I fucking totally get it because I go to Southern California. And I'll talk to a Southern California Mexican. They're all like, they talk exactly like L.A. in the movies. Like, how you doing?
That's so funny.
I'm like, I don't talk like you.
we are.
Most of the L.A. comics talk like that.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh shit, this is wild. I didn't know you guys existed. They're like, how come you don't talk like us? So like, I don't know.
Oh man, yeah, it's so funny. Well, cool. Dude, I've had so much fun with you today.
Dude, this was great.
Yeah, if people want more Saul Trujillo in their life, where should they find you?
SaulComedy.com. I also go Saul Comedy on Twitter, Saul Comedy on Instagram. I have a comic strip called Scumbag Alley. I have a podcast called Joke Me Off.
Yeah.
JokeMeOff.net.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And we're back. Saul Trujillo, everybody. He's great. I know we talked a lot of comedy shop on this episode, and some of you guys really like that. Some of you guys really don't. Saul's a real student of comedy, and, he sat and he watched every single comedian, in the 2 or 3 days he was up. He watched every comic, not just every comic on every showcase, but every comic on the open mic. And, and we got a lot of, like, real young bucks in the scene right now, very funny guys that are just kind of starting out, just kind of figuring stuff out, and he was real encouraging to them, and that means a lot when you're a young comedian, to have the headliner of the show kind of come up to you afterwards and give you a fist bump and tell you good job. Can really mean the world to somebody who's just starting out, and Saul did a lot of that. And it's funny because I'll do that. I'll be like, "Yeah, great set, man," and they're like, "Yeah, man, cool." Like, it's like I'm their dad. Like, "Thanks, Dad." But Saul, cool Uncle Saul, shows up. They're like, "Oh, yeah, thanks, Uncle Saul." Anyway, it's fun. So yeah, guys, rate and review on iTunes if you can, and then saddadpodcast@gmail.com if you need to get a hold of me. You can follow me on all the social medias. Follow Saul. I'll link his website. It's got a link to all of his social media stuff and to his podcast. And that's been it. I'll be back next week. I'm going to try really hard to squeeze in an episode with this week's headliner, Stephen Briggs, who's a really, really funny dude, and he's a great storyteller. He's actually a Moth. He's won a bunch of Moth events and the Moth storytelling podcast. And so hopefully we can find the time. He's been real busy since while he's down here, and I've been real busy. And so hopefully we can find 45 minutes today before the show to get next week's episode together. If not, I'll figure something out for you, and it'll be good, and you're gonna like it because you guys are cool. April was my biggest month of downloads ever. Doubled and tripled in some places, and you guys have been so supportive, and just thank you so much. It means the world to me that you guys are tuning into this silly little thing, but we're doing it together. Oh, and I had an idea for some Sad Dad merch. I'll pitch it to you guys. If you could just tell me whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, so I know whether I should make this investment. But I was thinking about, I was talking about it with my BFF Isaac, and he suggested maybe I do Sad Dad coffee mugs, but do it like number one dad mugs, but number one Sad Dad listeners. I was thinking world's best number one Sad Dad podcast listener, and print that up on coffee cups and maybe sell that as merch. If you think that sounds cool, let me know, because it's a little kind of a pricey investment, and I don't want to end up with a bunch of podcasts, like coffee cups for my own podcast. I have enough coffee cups. But if it's something you'd be interested in, shoot me an email or hit me up on social media, and so I kind of can get a gauge on whether there's even remotely any demand for this silly little piece of merch. So cool, guys. I'll catch you next week. Adios.